Going to next, love MapQuest. I'm a MapQuest fan.
Well, this is exciting, and I've been honored to be included in the film you're making, Dean. Chris Carter.
Yes.
The X-Files.
Uh-huh.
The creator of it.
Yes.
What's Chris Carter doing today?
Probably surfing or mountain climbing, or he got into free swimming where he could hold his breath for 2.5 minutes underwater. But he's also writing, and I probably could say it, we're maybe working on a second X-Files movie. It's just Fox and Chris Carter have to come to some sort of agreement, but I had heard that they're actually writing, and NBC has just approached Chris Carter and Frank Spotnitz, the two main writers of the X-Files, to redo Kolchak the Night Stalker, which was the series with Darren McGavin that originally inspired Chris Carter to do the X-Files in the first place.
Wow.
Full circle. Now,
the Lone Gunmen ran in 2001.
That's right. 2000. It was a mid-season replacement, so 2001. We shot in 2000. January 2001 we started airing.
When did you shoot the episode with the government secretly hijacking a jet by remote control to fly to the World Trade Center?
Yeah, that we shot in March of 2000. So that's almost a full 9 months before it actually happens. Am I counting that right?
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, you see a plot from the TV show you were in, to some extent, coming true. What did you think on September 11th?
I didn't even put it together till I got a call from one of the writers going, "Are you watching this?" And by that time, the personal note, my pipes went in my sink at my house, and I had to go to Home Depot. So I wasn't really watching what was going on. I was concerned about a plumbing issue. So I didn't really follow it. I just heard, something's crazy happening, and I'm just supposed to fly to a comedy club because I do stand-up comedy as well. And so I was just trying to get the sink fixed before I had to get to the airport to go fly out of there. So I didn't even know the planes were grounded or anything like that. So then finally when I get the sink fixed, and then I sort of realized, wait a sec, I'm not flying anywhere. Then the phone rings, and then it's one of the writers going, "Are you watching this?" Then it all comes together.
What did he say? Who was the writer?
It was Vince Gilligan. He called and he said, "Are you watching this?" And I go, "Yeah." "It's weird. Why are you calling?" He goes, "Because the show." And then it took me a while to go, "Oh yeah, the pilot. Good God, it's exactly what they wrote." And they were really freaked out about it, the writers.
But then I saw in articles where they were interviewed about it. Who particularly wrote that episode?
I think Vince Gilligan was the head writer on that one.
And who else was involved?
And then it was Frank Spotnitz, John Scheibman, and then Chris Carter did a rewrite on that as well.
So you've got these three writers involved, the principal writer being Gilligan, and then 9/11 happens, and I saw him quoted saying, "Yeah, we thought it'd be a big deal, but it really wasn't a big deal. Nobody seemed to really even talk about it in the story I read." I certainly paid attention. I mean,
right.
Tell us in a nutshell what happened in that episode.
There is a government plot where they take a computer and basically override all the pilot's control systems, and by remote control are going to fly it into the World Trade Center in the series to start a worldwide war on terrorists. That was part of the plot.
Third world countries, third world tin-horn dictators begging to take responsibility and be smart-bombed.
That's right.
Because the war is over.
The war is over.
And we need a
new enemy to keep the economy going.
The Cold War is over, John.
That's right. Oh, you do. Wow, Alex, you did watch the show. That's very good.
No, I made a big deal out of it. There's two ways to look at this. Either one of the writers had an inside track and had somebody inside the globalist system plant this story with him, and he inadvertently read it, and he inadvertently wrote it, or the writer simply picked up on what was all over the news for 4 years before it was written in 2000. Because I was on the radio in 1996, every few months, CNN, AP, there's a plan to hijack jets and fly them in the World Trade Center. But then on the morning of 9/11, the government came out and said, "Hey, we never heard of a plan to do this. No one ever thought of a plan." Well, Bush, a few months before, was in Genoa, Italy at the World Summit, They had anti-aircraft missiles on top of the buildings.
Right.
He stayed on an aircraft carrier out in the Mediterranean because of a threat of hijacked jets being flown in.
Yeah.
The CIA put out reports of this, of plans to fly him into the CIA, plans to fly him into the World Trade Center, Pentagon, Capitol. But Condoleezza Rice, our new Secretary of State,
Yeah.
all of them, they said they never heard of such a plan. It was preposterous. So what do you think it is, or any ideas or feelings or thoughts on that? You know, what is it? Is it an inside track, a conspiracy with the writers of Lone Gunmen? Or is it that they were tuned into the news? And, I mean, Tom Clancy
wrote it in his book, too, right? I mean, it was all there. It was already out there. And and this is what the writers of the X-Files and the Lone Gunmen did, is they were great at coalescing all of this information. You know, the show was popular because it hit on so many things. UFOs, creepy alien mutation, or, all sorts of stuff, and bringing it into a collective, like the collective consciousness into one single show.
And bringing in a lot of futuristic, but also near future and current cutting edge things.
Right. And so, because they had that skill already for like 8 years before the Lone Gunmen started up, they had already been, pulling these clips. If you ever went into one of the writers' rooms and see their library, it's not how to write screenplays and, actors in Hollywood. It's, Mithra, early Mithra religions and 12 kooky things to do at night. They had like such an eclectic library mix. They were so well read that was what they fueled themselves to write these episodes. So clearly, I think that they were just picking up on what was already out there, the A.P. Wire stories and the Tom Clancy.
But Condoleezza Rice says that no one had ever thought of such a...
Condoleezza Rice is not a writer, also.
Let me ask you a question. What did you think of watching this intelligence chief who's advising the president? We now know there were memos that said Bin Laden is dedicated to attack, probably with jets in the buildings. I mean, they knew. They were lying.
They knew. And if you read Michael Rupert's Crossing the Rubicon, have you read that book?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the timeline in there. Clearly, it's,
We actually broke that.
Oh, did you?
My sources, 3 years ago, there was a NORAD stand-down order.
Yeah.
Because there was a drill.
Going on with
at
16s
at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or about 24 drills. Of the exact same, one of the drills though, was the exact same planes, type planes, hitting the exact same targets at the exact same time. And so NORAD then stood down because NORAD was being told this is a drill. And they have air traffic controllers going on tape. Is this part of the drill? So, and then they have the F-16s off in Canada and the West Texas doing other drills dealing with hijacked jets. So all the jets in the real world were in different areas dealing with other drills. And then there was another drill of flying jets in the World Trade Center and Pentagon at 8:30 in the morning. Dean, what's the chances, just in your view, of having the exact same drill, of the exact same thing happening on the exact same day?
0, I would say, or a million, or bazillion, whichever way you want to lay that out.
Dean, what do you think really happened on 9/11?
I think it was staged, and I think it was, according to Jordan Maxwell, it's America's Reichstag, and it seems all the evidence is pointing there. There's that guy who's got $100,000 to anyone who can prove...
Jimmy Walter,
engineering, that if prove that the World Trade Center can fall down like that without explosives.
Were you aware of Operation Northwoods?
No, what's that one?
We got the official U.S. government plan to carry out a 9/11 style attack. They talk about hijacking jets by remote control and crashing them and then blaming it on foreign enemies. And it was from 1962.
So this is long term.
These guys just have the same tricks. Now they admit they released the Presidential Library here in Austin last year. Gulf of Tonkin never happened. I mean, everybody already knew that, but it's LBJ admitting that our ships were never attacked.
Right.
So they just said we got attacked, and then 58,000 Americans died, over 1 million Vietnamese.
Man. So, and this again brings it to what the Lone Gunmen was about, that this was the three of us in a little office trying to put this information out there, saying that this is happening, and sort of, a Don Quixote tilting at windmills kind of thing.
Would people listen to